In this screencast, I'm going to look at using the Google revision history and Google Docs to assist in the writing process. So there's a bunch of ways that this can be used. You can use it for journaling. You can use it for creative writing, expository writing. You can use it for all kinds of things. And what it allows you to do, or what it allows the student to do, is to go back and look at prior writing. And then you as the teacher can make comments right on the document and then have the student revise. Instantly I'm thinking about thesis statements as just one example. So let's say I want to try to draw them out on some positions, and a student says something like this: we must save the whales. Okay, so I try to draw them out on a position, and I say to them, I could make a comment on their paper like, this is very vague. I think that you need to expand and include a Y in this statement. So that's kind of how I would set it up in one of my classes. It's we need to have kids that kind of answer the so what in some of the things that they write. So the student came up with "we must save the whales," and we need to respond to that, try to get them to draw them out a little bit. So I would highlight my comment here like this. Okay. And then what it does is it allows the student, so I would send this back to them, and then they could read it. And then what they could do is go back to the same document. Where the revision history comes in is what we can do is we can highlight this first statement that the student made. We can come down here to file. And what I would really do is have the students label each revision that they make. So what I would say is, okay, after you come up with your first statement, then go ahead and label this version, version 1. And so what I would do is I would go name current version. So I would have the students do this. What they would do is they would name this version. So name it, and they would go thesis version 1, have them save it. Okay. And now this first portion of their writing is version 1. Now what they would do is they would come back after I've made my comments, and I could have them redo it. And so they can redo it something kind of like this. Okay. And now this is their first revision. Okay. So it says, because our planet's health may depend on biological diversity, we should save the whales. And then what I would have them do is come back here to the version history, name current version, and then I would go, so thesis statement version 2. Okay. And so what we have is we have their first statement, my comments, second statement, and of course I can come down here and I can make more comments. But then what happens is if I want to go look at the version history, or want the kids to go back and reflect on the revision history, I can do this. And then they could go back to the version history and they could see the versions. Okay. And what they could do is, this is the current version, but if I want them to go back and look at thesis version 1, okay, then what they would be looking at is they would be looking at their original comment plus what I added. And then what I could do is have them do a reflection on looking at the first version and then looking at the second version, and then discussing what the differences are between the two. So it adds a layer of reflection between the first and the second. So that's just using the revision history. You can use this for a bunch of stuff. If you can actually have the students label journal entries. So what they could do is label journal entries like journal 1, journal 2, journal 3. What you can do is you can have them go back to the original version that they had, the original journal entry that they have, and just kind of make reflections on how they built this journal. So if you think about it, at the end of the year, let's say they have like 5 pages of journal writing, you can have them go back to when it was just one paragraph and say, look, just a lot of steady work builds, a nice, kind of rigorous journal. So there's multiple ways to use this. I will be focusing on this on Tech Tuesdays after school. This is something that we can talk about if you're interested in it. So this is using Google Docs revision history to assist in the writing process.